Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage. This is a Puch Maxi. And to clarify to begin with, this is not the same Puch Maxi as I fixed up last year, even though it looks a lot like it. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to begin the Puch Maxi project. This is going to be a restoration project. It is pretty much the same. Although I can't remember the year of the previous one I had, but I think it's almost the same year. One of the giveaways is the suspension setup on the saddle that indicates it's an old one. I can't remember what the owner told me, but I think this is a 72 or 73. The interesting part about this moped is it's a one owner. The owner who bought this moped from brand new back in 72, 73 asked me if I could help him get it to run right. He told me that some years ago he had a friend looking at it that fixed it up. He told me that this moped is supposed to run, but it has very low power and it can almost not pull its own weight. So he asked me if I could take a look at that. Besides that problem, this moped has been standing still for quite a long while, and I think maybe a bit longer than the owner thought, because this is not a barn find, but it's almost a barn find. I don't think this has been running for at least 7 or 8 years, and maybe even more. And to be totally honest, I don't think this moped has been running for 20 years maybe. But I could be wrong. I'm looking forward to talking to the owner again. He's on a holiday right now, but just to clarify, sometimes years go by a bit quicker than you notice. At least I feel that way. This was the fuel that I extracted from the tank. There was some rust in it, but that was not the main issue. The main issue is that this fuel is so old that, well, maybe it has been running on this fuel a couple of years back, but it would have been running very bad, at least, because this fuel is at least 10 years old. But I can't be sure. That's just in my experience. Fuel tends to change color and change odor, and the smell that this emits is, yeah. I spilled some on the floor while extracting it, and I couldn't really be in the garage for a couple of days because I hate the smell of old fuel. This is really, really old fuel. So either this moped has not been running for 10, 15, 20 years and ran bad, and maybe it ran bad back then. The other possibility is that it did run a couple of years back on the old fuel, and then I'm pretty sure that the issue is the old fuel. But either way, I'm going to try to make it run and try to make it run good today. And I already started work. I have cleaned out the tank. As I told you, there was a little bit of rust in the tank. So I have filled the tank with citric acid mixed with water and dried that out afterwards and flushed it and dried it out afterwards. That will take most of the rust away. It's a common problem on these old Puchs that the tank rusts and put a lot of small particles into the carb and clogs it. And it can even be so bad that the fuel tank is leaking. And the fuel tank is a part of the frame itself, so it's a bit complicated. But I don't think this tank is that bad, actually. Now the tank is clean enough. I need to clean the valve that is not attached at the moment because that is completely clogged. And then by experience, I know that the carb will be completely gummed up. So I'm not even going to try to start it. I'm going to take the carb off and clean it and then put it all back together and then test and see if it runs. But it's nice to be working on a Puch again. Let's get started. Here we have the fuel valve that I was trying to clean, but then I noticed that actually it's missing something. This is supposed to have a pipe that goes from here and up here with another filter. That means that you can select between the primary fuel tank and the reserve being this one and the primary being up here. So when this one runs out of fuel, then there's still some left that this one can pick up. This is completely gone. I'm pretty sure this is a copper tubing and that has oxidated away, which I'm a bit surprised about actually. But this could be rebuilt, but not by me. So I'm gonna buy a new fuel valve for this and keep this because this is the original one. Maybe someone in the future would like to rebuild it. So we'll keep that together with the parts. But this needs a new one to be able to run. So let's get the carb off the Puch. I'm going to remove the side panels for that. And this is not going to be a restoration video at all. So maybe some of you will wonder why I don't adjust the timing or something like that. This is only a video where I'm gonna try to make this moped run again and run all right. It's not a rebuild series or anything like that. So maybe we're going to take a look at the ignition system, but maybe not. And then we should be able to loosen up this one and get the carb off. Let's see. Oh, it's very dry. But it doesn't look too bad down here. That's a nice sign so far. It's too early to really say, but that's the carb off. Before taking it too much apart, I'm just going to clean the outside a little bit. It's not necessary, but it just makes it a bit nicer to work on. On a more complicated carb, it's a good idea to do because you don't want dirt and stuff everywhere, but this is so simple, so it won't really matter much. There we go, a bit cleaner. Now I need to take the bottom end off. I'm very excited to see how it looks down here because I think that a lot of old fuel has been standing down here and that can gum up the carb. Well, it's not too bad, but it is completely clogged, that's for sure. I hope to be able to just clean this up and reuse it and not change it because it's more fun to make stuff work than it is to just change it. Yeah, it's very dirty. I need to take out this little, I don't know if it's called a jet, but the bottom end where the fuel is coming in. And the needle goes into this hole to allow the right amount to come in. Oh, that was a lot easier than I thought. I don't think it's that bad actually. It's just looking really bad, but it's not. But this screw is very clogged. This is all right, so I'm just going to clean that up. So this is a lot cleaner. Now it's just this little screw thing. This needs to be cleaned out in the inside. I'm going to use a string on this. Actually, fishing rod would be a bit better because this can actually make the hole larger. But I'm going to be careful, and it's very clogged, so I don't think fishing line is going to do the trick. Well, maybe it was. That was really easy. This is just a lot better than I thought. Everything is a lot easier to. So yeah, this is just going back together. Then I'm just going to check if the float valve is working. Can you see it's dripping down now? Now I should be able to close it like this. And it stops. So that is working as well. It's cleaning up so nicely, this one. I think this is going to be an easy task. Oh, that's always stupid to say, but now it's done. Remember, I'm just going to make this moped start and run all right. I'm not going to do much more else than that. Let's reinstall this onto the wonderful Puch Maxi. Wonderful and very dirty Puch Maxi. Puch Maxi. No, I didn't say that. I really love this. I wish that I owned this moped, but I don't. And he doesn't want to sell it. And if he wanted to sell it, I wouldn't be able to afford it. These mopeds are worth way too much in my country at the moment. Oh, and by the way, when I took off the side cover on the other side, I noticed this. I have never seen that on a Puch Maxi. I have not worked on very many Puch Maxis, so it could be just me. But this can be taken off, and underneath is a toolkit. Can you see it? There is a rusty screwdriver. There are some rusty tools, and a piece of chain, and some more rusty tools, and what's in the back? Nothing is in the back. But there is a bag. I just think the tools were supposed to be in the back. This is quite nice to see. Of course, it's very rusty. I think that this moped, unfortunately, has been in a pretty humid environment, which is a shame, but it's not too bad. The fuel tank got rust, and it's difficult to really remedy, but I think it will be all right for now at least. But as I said, these mopeds, the Puch Maxi, is worth so much in my country at the moment. I don't know really why, but we had a commercial some way back for mobile phones where a guy rode a Puch Maxi around, and I think that made the prices go completely nuts in my country. The one I had last year I sold for 8,500 kronas, which is around 1,100 euros, I think, a bit more even. And I think I sold it a little bit too cheap, but that's way too much money for a moped, if you ask me. I think a moped should cost around 300 euros or something like that. So these are worth so much. And I think with stuff like this and a number match between the engine and the frame and all that, this will be worth quite a lot. And back from the shop, I bought a fuel valve for the moped. And a piece of fuel line on the valve, like that. I really miss owning a Puch because they are nice to work on. Really nice. But this is it. It's still very dirty, and most likely a lot of other stuff is broken, but I think it's ready to at least test to see if it works. Oh, it's sounding nice. Really needs the choke right now, so I can't give it throttle, but when it heats up, I think it will be fine. actually sounding pretty nice. So it's running pretty nice actually. I had a bit of bearing sound to begin with, but it disappeared pretty quickly, so I think it was just lacking lubrication. It's really sounding good. And I wanted to take it on a test ride. And then I noticed this. The tire moves quite a lot around, but not in there, which tells me that something is not tightened up, or maybe a bearing is completely worn out. I'm going to take a look at this and then take you back for the test drive. So the Puch Maxi is working and it is driving. Not perfectly though. It runs great at half throttle and a bit more, but at full throttle it will die slightly. It seems to be running a bit lean. So I have some small adjustment. Also the entire front end of the bike is a bit loose, so there's more to do. But this will be all for this video at least. I will do some more work on it to get it to run a little bit better, hopefully. The task for this video was just to get it started and running, and it's working now. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.